Thanks for joining us. My name is Mike Lemon. I am the CEO of Millstone Labs. I'm a retired detective and forensic examiner from Bowling Green, Kentucky. And we're going to go over one of our tools that we use with our partner agencies here called MOBILedit Forensic Express. Some of you may have received a demo key, some licensing information. It's usually a 30-day to 60-day license, and so we want to make sure you know how to use it correctly. And so we're going to go through from the installation all the way to completing an exam in a fairly fast-paced video. It's not very difficult. You can pick this up pretty quickly, and you'll have it on video if you need to stop it and rewind and go from there. So first, if you haven't downloaded the software yet, go to MOBILedit.com, to Products, and then to Mobile Forensic Express. Now you see the download button there on the right. Just click that and it'll start downloading your software, and then go ahead and install that just through the click-throughs that it gives you. So the user guide here, we're going to go over a little quickly, and then we'll start getting into actually hands-on. So this will teach you here how to get started, how to push updates out. I'll let you read that on your own. It's fairly self-explanatory. And it'll also talk about your system requirements, how to activate and deactivate your license, which we'll talk about in a second. But the big part here is actually connecting phones. And so MOBILedit is one of the few tools that will actually do Android, iOS or Apple, BlackBerry, Windows phones, and feature phones, which are commonly known as throw phones. The ones that nothing else will really do. And MOBILedit for years has been my go-to, the basic version, just for feature phones, because a lot of the other softwares wouldn't handle the feature phones, the throw phones, but MOBILedit did a great job of it. Now this is the Forensic Express is their top tier version, and will handle Android, iOS, BlackBerry, Windows, and feature phones very well. So to get to the Android, you click on there, it'll take you to this screen here, and there's a video here to watch. We'll walk through it real quickly. So essentially you disconnect the phone, go to System, About Phone, find the build number. Sometimes it's in the About Phone, sometimes it's in the software part of About Phone. Hit it 7 times, will put you in developer options. Open up developer options, seek USB debugging, hit OK. You also want to enable the stay awake option. If you don't do this, then if it will time out and lock on you, it'll stop the examination. So make sure you hit the stay awake. Now these will be installed automatically when you download the tools. We'll skip ahead a little bit. Once you have it in the correct setting, you'll connect your phone to the PC, confirm, always allow this computer, check, and then OK. If it is not already selected, then you can select the transfer files or the MTP mode. You connect it, and then you're ready to go. Now for the iPhone, it's a little bit simpler. There's 2 things you want to do: is take the passcode off and then disable the auto lock option. So to get to the disable the auto lock option, go to Settings, Display and Brightness, your auto lock, which is right here. You want from whatever it's set at, 30 seconds, 1 minute to 5 minutes, you want to take that to never. So once your auto lock is taken off, and if you have a passcode on it, disable the passcode, then you'll be ready to go. Alright, so after you install the MOBILedit Forensic Express and you have your phone in the correct examination mode, what you'll need to do here is come to activation. Now mine is already activated, but if you have not activated it yet, there'll be 3 lines here, and the licenses, the license number, the name, and the company will be on there. If you've been to one of our classes and do not remember those, give us a call or an email, and we'll get those out to you. We still have those on file. If you're going to change computers from the computer you're on to put this tool on another computer, you must deactivate it first and make sure it's connected to a internet, either Wi-Fi or a landline or a LAN, and then you can actually take that license and put it on another computer, but you can't have the same license on 2 computers. Check for updates. One of the reasons I really like this tool is there are a lot of updates. Most tools will only give you probably 1 to 3 updates a year. They're giving you 1 to 3 updates every month. They really push out a lot of information, a lot of good changes, and are very receptive to ideas of different ways of doing things. So you can check updates. If it'll be in here in red, if there are updates, you just click on it, it'll automatically update, and this will usually be red as well if there's updates to be had. File manager, we'll skip over that. It's a little too in-depth for this type of video. Settings. If you're going to be the main person using this tool, then it's a good idea to just put your information in there as the main person. That way you don't have to write it down every single time. If you want a logo, it'll start like this. If you know we have a logo on your computer, click on it, click on your logo, identify your logo, and then instead of having a Mobile Forensic Express logo on your report, it's going to be your logo on there. I think it usually comes at SHA-256, which is a hashing algorithm. I select MD5 just because if you have to submit information or hashes to NCMEC, such as child pornography, MD5 is what they'll want. And I keep these 2 as what's installed. So, okay. Now about, if you need the information, what version you're using, it's also up here. And if you want to quit, you can click quit here, or you can just go up to the X on top and click there. So I've already had my phone, and I went through the steps as we saw in the video, connected the Android device there, and so it sees it. If it doesn't see it, if there's a problem, usually there will be a information here to tell you what to do. With a Apple, it's going to ask you to turn off some type of Apple program, and so you click on that and it'll automatically turn that information off, and then it'll reconnect to your phone. So with the Androids connected here, next, the phone is not rooted, just letting you know that this phone is not rooted, which we understand. Here there's a lot of different things you can do, but in all actuality, especially with law enforcement, full content is the only thing you'll ever use. You're going to want everything on there. Now if the judge says, hey, you can only get information from this day and time or from these contacts, then you may want to use a filter. There's more information in the manual. Or if there's certain contacts that you can only talk to or see, you can put those information here, as it says, separated by a semicolon, no spaces, just number, semicolon, number, or name, or contact those information. Or if there's a certain string text that you're looking for, you can put that here and it'll search just for that as well. One thing they did do for me is the parent check. We do a lot of checks for parents on their kids' phones, let them know what their kids are doing. And so this wasn't here a month ago, and I'd asked them if they could put something in here just for parents because these reports can get quite lengthy and in detail, and it's something that most parents do not have the need to see all the different information. They just need to see who they're talking to, pictures, videos that are being sent, apps that are being used, those types of things. So they actually created this within about a week to 2 weeks after I talked to them about doing this. As I said, they're very, very receptive. But you're going to click full content. That's what you're going to do 99.99% of the time. Full content. Next. Put your information here. First and foremost, make sure your time zone's correct. It's going to try to pick up the time zone on your phone or the time zone on your computer. If you need to change it, you can come down here and select whatever time zone you're needing for this case. Report language is English. Here you can put your information on the case, your phone information, and it has auto detected that this is a ZTE Z812 and with this phone number, but you have to put everything else in these lines. If you want to take a picture, if you have a web camera, you can click here. Obviously I don't have a web camera set up right now, but if you did, you can take pictures of, say, the phone or, say, your search warrant, those types of things. Or if you've already taken those pictures and you've connected the phone or the camera to your computer or put those pictures onto your computer, you can select photos here and add those to your report. So my information's here. I click next. Ask you what type of reports you want. I personally like the HTML reports, just the way they're laid out. Some of your prosecutors may want PDF reports, so you can click here, or you can do both of them if you want to. Basically the time to create the reports is going to be doubled, but you can do both of these if you want to. It's going to ask you for your HTML, do you want it to pack all into a single file, or do you want no packing? If it packs into a single file, it's talking about zipping it or making a zip file, or leaving it unzipped. And so I usually just go with no packing. You can do the same thing with your PDF report. You can actually put put them into either a single file or multiple, or just split them into multiple files, which the HTML report will do that automatically. If you want to do an Excel report, say you want to just take information from people's contacts and you want to put that information into like a pin link or something like that, an Excel report's what you want. You can put a backup of your report somewhere else. So you'll do your report and then you put a backup to another location. You can actually put a password on that backup. If you have a Cellbrite or access to a Cellbrite, you can actually make a separate report in a Cellbrite file and take that file and put it directly into a Cellbrite and use a Cellbrite to examine the same evidence to see if it can pick anything up that mobile forensic had missed. With our testing, we haven't seen much that it has missed to a Cellbrite or XRY, so this is why we're using MOBILedit Forensic Express, but you can still do that. But you want an HTML report, you want to make sure you check it. Go to next. Camera ballistics we do not use. Photo recognizer is one of the coolest things I've seen so far. It gives you a highlight mode, and say you have a case involving drugs. Now you may have 10,000 pictures, 20,000 pictures in a phone to go through. What this will do is it'll put a separate file just to see if there are any drugs in some of the pictures. Now you may get some false hits, but you can actually go pretty quickly through there and see if there's any drugs in the pictures. So you have drugs, currency, documents, your nudity, say it's a child pornography case or some type of spying case or improper videoing, or weapons, ammunition, explosives, grenades. Haven't seen many grenades. Handguns, bladed weapons, or long guns. Or if you want everything, just click up here. Now it'll keep the pictures in the categories where they found them, but it'll also make a separate entry into a file just for currency or drugs, nudity, those types of things. We'll see that in just a second. So click next. Now you can export this file anywhere you want to on your computer. If you have an external drive, those types of things. You can rename this if you want to. Just type up here. And if you want to delete that, you can, or you can leave it just as it is. And it'll show you the model, make and model of the phone, and the date and time of the extraction. And then you have to tell it where you want to go. So you want your go to So once you've clicked that, you can go to next, and here it'll say export name. You can change your file name or your folder name, that you can put the person's name, your case number, whatever you want to do, or you can leave it as it is and it'll just be the make, model, and the date and time of extraction. Now the destination folder you can choose anywhere on your computer or an attached storage device. Let you know on this there's 64 gigs free, so you know if you have a 128 gig phone, that it's probably not going to be large enough to hold it. So it's letting you know up front to make sure that you have a destination that's large enough to hold your exam. And so once that's ready, you come over here and hit export. It's running. Only thing you're going to have to do is when this goes through all these different items here, eventually it'll say, do you want to back up your phone? The phone itself will go to a different mode, and it'll say in the bottom right, say back up my phone. Hit back up my phone, and that's really all that you need to do, and it's going to keep going until it's finished examining. Now one of the coolest things about MOBILedit Forensic Express is while this one is running, you can go ahead and click and plug in a second phone. So well, thank you for letting me know. Hit connect more, and I plugged in my Apple, and now it shows that there's an iOS device. So it's acquiring data on the Android. I can go over here to Apple. As I said before, it'll say stop this service, the Apple mobile device service. Yes. Take just a second. There it is, Apple 4. Click on that. And then we'll go through the exact same process we did before. Full content. We'll just make this test. Again, my information is stored in there because I changed it in settings. I want an HTML report, no packing. I want to highlight all categories. Just going to go in the exact same folder, just with a different folder name. I've already examined this, and it's set the encrypted backup password to 123. If you haven't done this before, it'll automatically ask you it and say, hey, I'm going to set the password to 123. So I know what it is. So I'll enter that there. Alright, so the Apple is now going, and we have two processes running as it shows right here. The good thing is you can connect more, so you can connect another phone. You can run up to 3 phones on this at one time. Now the processing power will be split, so it'll take a little bit longer per phone, but you're going to be able to do 3 at once. So if you have can have a secure place, and you can do it at your office, or you can lock your office up and use this at night. Hook up 3 phones, get them to go, and turn around and come back in the morning, and boom, they're done. The other nice thing is, you know, how fast these go. Well, I helped the agency the other day. They brought in 4 phones, 2 Android, 2 Apples, and I was able to help them do all 4 phones and get this done in an hour and a half. Very, very quick, and for 4 phones to be done, fully examined, and ready to go back to their agency. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pause this right here, and we'll come back. This will be done. We'll go over the actual reports. So stay with us. Alright, now we're back, and both the Apple and the Android are done. It took approximately 35 minutes to do both, which is pretty standard. You're looking at usually under an hour for a phone, unless you have one of the new 256 gigabyte iPhones or Android, one of those, you better just go ahead and set it and forget it. Put it on before you go home and let it sit and run all night, and it should be done in the morning. We've had them take up to 10 hours to 11 hours to process. So let's go ahead and look at what we have. Here's the Apple, and here is the Android. To see what your reports, you can come down here to results folder. You've selected here the Apple. Click on results folder. Here is the actual results. All you have to do to see your whole report as one is to click here and report long. Now I'll show you something why I like HTML files and why I like to separate them not into just one big file. As you click on the HTML, here are all the individual files of all the different items that you can possibly recover. So the problem that if you open up an HTML or a PDF and say you have 10,000 some pictures on there, it may render very slowly every time you scroll down. So if you want to see just your messages, check those quickly, you can just come here and see those. Here are your messages. So let's see, we'll go back, go to the report long, and check out the report. So here's the report. Has a picture of the phone itself, the Mobile Forensic Express tab up there. I'll go down a little bit. So here's a lot of people that question about, well, how do I testify to these exams? You're not testifying as an expert, you're testifying as a tech. So you used the information correctly, you used the tool correctly, and the results are a product of what you have done. So if you need to testify, this is what you testify to. You have an Apple iPhone 4. Here's a hardware revision. Here's the serial number. The iTunes backup is that password there. Electronic serial number is there. Now if I'd have entered my information, it would come up here. And here's how really when the testimony starts. The date you started your extraction, this date and time. It was finished, this date and time. Extracted using Mobile Forensic Express. Here's the version number. Here is the manufacturer, more information about the phone that you used. It's running an American Chicago time. The phone number, the MAC address. And so they say, well, what did you do? Well, I put it in examination mode. I selected iPhone 4. I selected iPhone 4 here. I asked for full content. Enter my information here. I selected a HTML report with no packing. Did not use camera ballistics. And requested a highlight mode for all categories. And here's the report number, or the report name, and here's where I stored it. And everything else is a result from the tool. So that's really as far as you have to testify, is that. And the results are from using the tool. If they need more specific information about how the tool works, you're going to have to get an expert from the company to come down to testify to that. Similar to if you actually used a breathalyzer. You're not an expert in the breathalyzer and how it works, but you're a tech. You can use the device. So here's your summary. You have one account. Your contacts is 1,224. 1,138 are deleted and been recovered. You had 70 conversations. We'll talk about those in a second. For 1,941 messages, 1,777 have been deleted, so those have been recovered. With iPhones, those are usually going to be your iMessages. Your email information, calls, events, birthdays, You've got 44 images that it thinks may be currency, 108 that may be documents, drugs, nudity, weapons. As you can see, the image file, the audio files, video files, some passwords, and GPS locations. So we're going to check out a couple of these. So it's showing contacts from unknown. It tried to recover it. It really can't see exactly what that is. So you get some of those we consider false positives. But here's a phone number here, 615. Those numbers here is deleted, but it's still able to recover it. It also pull people's Facebook information, your Facebook contacts. So it's just not cell phone numbers. It's also some of your Facebook, maybe Snapchat, those types of things. So there's a couple ways you can traverse this report. You can go to the right here and scroll up and down to see these different things, or you can come here, click on the green tile, turns orange, and then come down here, click say conversations. Let's check out messages real quick. I'll tell you what those are. You got to click this again to get rid of it. Your messages are actually your messages on your phone in order of time sequence. Now, these are deleted, so the date sometimes gets screwed up when they recover deleted information. As you can see, it's an iMessage. Doesn't say who it's to or who it's from, but it does tell you what's on there. Now you can go back and try to correlate those with a search warrant on the actual messages that were sent or received. But those are all in time. So if you want to see the actual conversations, you come down here to conversations, click the orange square, turns green, and here, this number here, the 615 number, here's all the messages, SMS messages to there in order. So it's able to recover some of these dates and times and put these back in order, just like kind of you see them on your phone, where there's one side's who received it, the other side's the one you sent. You can see some of here's iOS chat that comes down to the messages. So here we are with the images of drugs. Close that back. And as I said, there's going to be some false positives. It's going to tell you its best guess what it believes to be drugs. And those, well, so those are it. There's some marijuana right there. That looks like turnip greens. Maybe it thinks it's marijuana. So these, as I said, those photos are still under, which would be down here under image files, but they're put in this folder as well, so you can review those pretty quickly. So you have your photos. Usually your photos are going to be what's actually taken as far as the camera, and your image files can be from social media, can be from the web, can be things you've saved, those types of things. So it can be really from anything. Got your audio, your video, your documents, passwords. Our local Wi-Fi. There's her voicemail. Password probably it's going to be a hash value of that, some sort. So all these different types of passwords can be recovered from that. So now you can go to your web history, your browsing history. It's going to show you a Google search of Kroger Pharmacy, Madison, Tennessee. So if they're going to try to get pills from pharmacy, you can see these Google searches. Lots of good information there. Google Maps, maybe they find out where their dope dealer is, those types of things. if you get much really in depth and want to try to go more hands-on, you can actually come down here to the file system and search through that, but that would be really a last resort. It also may tell you the cell towers. No entries on here, but I've seen them before where they've had actual cell tower information that sees what cell tower was hitting off of the date and time. So all that information is available as we see here on the right side. I'm sorry, the left side. Contacts, calls, calendars, notes, image files, videos files, passwords, GPS locations. There's a GPS location here. This picture was taken, and this is the longitude, latitude. And if you're connected currently to the internet, that's to show you all your different GPS locations that you've taken. Some are pictures, some are chats. That's a Facebook post. There's a picture. Tell you up here on the right hand side what it is. The video, some type of Facebook position, maybe some type of check-in. So very helpful. Maybe if you need the actual Wi-Fi network, what they're using, if they've connected to, say if there's a burglary and someone goes in there at 2 o'clock in the morning and they connect to that Wi-Fi of a pharmacy, then maybe their pharmacy name and MAC address will be on here that you can go back and say they were connected to this Wi-Fi at 2 o'clock in the morning when the business was closed. Lots of great information that you can pull from here. So we'll close this one down and pull up the Android. Same thing, long report, or you can come up here into your actual HTML files. As you can see, it's pretty much the same information. There's a little more image files, HTMLs, just because there's more images on this video, or on this cell phone, and the more images, it's going to make more of these files. While it has more images, it doesn't have as much information on it. So I just showed you the Apple kind of as the best example of it, but you can see from here it's the exact same report. And you can navigate it the exact same way. Over here on the left, open, close. It's got your phone information. It's got your extraction information, device properties, and then your screenshots of the report that you made, or how you made the examination. Everything you need to testify. So that's going to be a quick summary of MOBILedit Forensic Express. If you have any questions, you'd be more than happy to give us a ring or email. If I can type, we'll be good to go. Well, that'd be the reason right there. So you can contact us here at 877-93-CYBER or info@millstonelabs.com, or go to our website and contact us, and there's a contact sheet. fill out and send it to us. We'll be happy to talk to you and walk you through whatever problems you're having. Just give us a ring, and I appreciate your time.